Hi, and welcome to English Channel. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
1. Introduction. Today, we live in a world with food, safe homes, and protection. This feels normal to us. But for more than 99.99% of human history, life was very different. The world was wild and dangerous. We were not the only humans on Earth. At least 6 other human species lived beside us. They were intelligent and strong. Slowly, they disappeared. In the end, only our species survived to tell this story. 2. The first steps. 6 million years ago. About 6 million years ago, a very important change began. Our ancestors slowly separated from the great apes. They did not look exactly like us, but they were no longer the same as chimpanzees or gorillas. This was the beginning of the hominin line. One big change shaped our future. They began to walk on 2 legs. Standing upright helped them see far across the land. It also freed their hands to carry food and simple objects. Early species, such as Australopithecus, lived in Africa. They moved between forests and open grasslands. The climate was slowly changing. The land was becoming drier and more open. Because of this, walking on 2 legs became very useful. It helped them travel long distances under the hot sun. These early hominins still had small brains. They could climb trees, but they also walked on the ground. Life was not easy. They had to find food and avoid dangerous animals. Slowly, their bodies adapted to the changing world. This was only the beginning of a long human journey. 3. The rise of Homo. 2.8 million years ago. About 2.8 million years ago, a new chapter began. The first members of the genus Homo appeared in Africa. Their brains were larger than before. In fact, their brains were about 50% bigger than earlier ancestors. This change was very important. A larger brain allowed better thinking and problem solving. One early species was Homo habilis. The name means handyman. Homo habilis began to make simple stone tools. They used sharp stones to cut meat and break bones. These tools were rough, but they were useful. This was the beginning of the Old Stone Age. Tools helped them eat more meat. Better food gave them more energy. More energy helped support a growing brain. They still lived in small groups. They hunted small animals and gathered plants. Life was still dangerous and difficult. But something had changed forever. Humans were no longer just surviving. They were learning to shape the world around them. 4. Fire and a physical leap. 1.5 million to 400,000 years ago. Around 1.5 million years ago, a new human species became strong and successful. This species was called Homo erectus. Homo erectus had a taller body and longer legs. Their body shape was closer to modern humans. They could walk and run long distances. This helped them hunt and explore new lands. Homo erectus was the first human species to leave Africa. They traveled into Asia and Europe. They survived for nearly 2 million years. This makes them one of the longest living human species. One of their greatest achievements was the control of fire. At first, humans may have used natural fire from lightning. Later, they learned how to keep it burning. Fire changed everything. It gave warmth during cold nights. It scared away dangerous animals. It also allowed humans to cook food. Cooked food was softer and easier to eat. It gave more energy and nutrients. More energy helped support a larger brain. Fire also brought people together. Families sat around the fire and shared food. They could stay awake longer at night. They may have begun to communicate more. With stronger bodies and better tools, they adapted well. Homo erectus prepared the path for future humans. Their discoveries shaped the next stage of human evolution forever. 5. The dawn of Homo sapiens, 300,000 years ago. Around 300,000 years ago, our own species appeared in Africa. They were called Homo sapiens. The name means wise human. Their brains were large and complex. Their faces were flatter than earlier humans. Their bodies were lighter and more flexible. But Homo sapiens were not alone. Other human species still lived on Earth. Neanderthals lived in Europe and Western Asia. Denisovans lived in parts of Asia. These humans were similar to us. They made tools and survived harsh climates. Some even buried their dead. For thousands of years, different human species shared the planet. They sometimes met and even had children together. Today, many people still carry small traces of their DNA. Early Homo sapiens lived in small groups. They were hunters and gatherers. They moved often to find food. Life was difficult and uncertain. There were no cities or farms. There was no writing or large culture yet. However, something special was growing inside their minds. Their ability to imagine and communicate was improving. This hidden change would soon transform the world. The dawn of Homo sapiens was quiet, but it was the beginning of everything we are today. 6. The Great Migration and Human Dominance, 70,000 to 50,000 years ago. Around 70,000 years ago, a small group of Homo sapiens left Africa. They crossed deserts, rivers, and unknown lands. No one knows exactly why they left. Perhaps the climate changed. Perhaps they were searching for food. Step by step, they moved into the Middle East. From there, they spread into Europe, Asia, and Australia. Over many generations, humans reached almost every continent. Around 50,000 years ago, something amazing happened. Human progress suddenly became much faster. Scientists call this the cognitive revolution. Tools became sharper and more specialized. Humans made needles, fishing hooks, and better hunting weapons. They built safer shelters. Most importantly, language became more complex. People could share detailed ideas and plans. They could talk about the past and the future. They could even imagine things that were not real. This helped large groups work together. Strangers could trust one another through shared stories and beliefs. Because of cooperation, humans became very powerful. They hunted large animals successfully. They adapted quickly to different climates. During this time, other human species slowly disappeared. Neanderthals and Denisovans vanished from the Earth. The reasons are still debated today. In the end, only Homo sapiens remained. Humans were no longer just survivors. They had become the dominant species on the planet. 7. Spirit and art. 40,000 to 12,000 years ago. Between 40,000 and 12,000 years ago, humans changed again. They were not only thinking about survival, they began to express their inner world. In deep caves, they painted animals on stone walls. They used natural colors from plants and minerals. Some paintings were very detailed and beautiful. These artworks still exist today. Humans also carved small statues from bone and stone. Many statues showed animals or human figures. Some may have symbolized fertility or protection. Music also appeared during this time. People made simple flutes from animal bones. The sound of music filled the air. Art shows that humans were thinking deeply. They were asking questions about life and death. They began to believe in spirits and unseen forces. Many groups buried their dead with care. They placed tools, flowers, or objects in the graves. This suggests belief in an afterlife. Rituals became important in community life. Shared beliefs helped groups stay united. Stories were told around fires at night. Myths explained the world and nature. Through art and belief, humans created culture. They were no longer only physical beings. They had imagination and spiritual ideas. This period shaped the emotional and cultural heart of humanity. It prepared humans for the next great change in history. 8. The Agricultural Revolution, Settlement and Change. 12,000 years ago. Around 12,000 years ago, human life changed in a dramatic way. For thousands of years, people had lived as hunters and gatherers. They moved from place to place in search of food. But in some regions, especially in the Fertile Crescent, humans began to experiment with farming. They learned that seeds could grow into plants if placed in the soil. They started to grow wheat and barley. They also began to domesticate animals such as goats and sheep. Instead of following wild herds, they raised animals near their homes. Farming provided a more stable food supply. For the first time, people could produce surplus food. Surplus means more food than they needed for one day. With extra food, populations began to grow. Families became larger and villages appeared. People built permanent houses from mud and stone. They no longer needed to travel constantly. Life became more organized and structured. However, farming also brought new challenges. People worked longer hours in the fields. They depended on the weather and the seasons. If crops failed, hunger followed. Living close together also caused diseases to spread more easily. Even so, agriculture slowly spread to other parts of the world. Different regions developed their own crops and farming methods. This agricultural revolution changed human society forever. It created permanent settlements and new social relationships. Humans were no longer just part of nature. They had begun to control it in new ways. This change laid the foundation for cities and civilizations. 9. The first civilizations, 5,000 years ago. Around 5,000 years ago, farming societies grew larger and more complex. Villages expanded into towns, and towns became cities. In regions such as Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, and China, the first civilizations appeared. Agriculture produced enough food to support many different jobs. Not everyone needed to farm. Some people became craftsmen, traders, soldiers, or priests. This was called specialization of labor. As societies grew, social classes developed. Some people held more power and wealth than others. Kings and rulers governed large populations. To manage trade and resources, writing was invented. In Mesopotamia, people created cuneiform writing on clay tablets. In Egypt, hieroglyphs were carved on stone and written on papyrus. Writing helped record taxes, laws, and trade agreements. It also preserved stories and knowledge. Laws were written to create order in society. One famous example is the Code of Hammurabi. Large building projects showed the strength of these civilizations. The Egyptians built pyramids. Cities in Mesopotamia constructed temples called ziggurats. Trade connected distant regions. Goods such as silk, spices, and metals traveled long distances. Ideas and technologies also spread. Civilizations created organized governments and complex cultures. Education, religion, and art developed further. Human society had become highly structured and interconnected. These early civilizations shaped the future of the world. 10. The Age of Empires and Ideas, 500 BCE, 1500 CE. Between 500 BCE and 1500 CE, large empires rose and shaped the world. Powerful states controlled vast lands and many different peoples. The Roman Empire expanded across Europe and the Mediterranean. In East Asia, the Han Dynasty ruled China with strong government systems. The Persian Empire connected regions from the Middle East to Central Asia. These empires built roads and protected trade routes. One famous network was the Silk Road. Through trade, goods traveled long distances. Silk, spices, gold, and glass moved between continents. Ideas also traveled along these routes. This period is sometimes called the Axial Age. Important philosophies and religions appeared. In India, Buddhism began to spread. In China, Confucianism shaped social values. In the Middle East, Judaism and later Christianity influenced moral life. In the 7th century, Islam emerged and expanded rapidly. These belief systems guided how people lived. They taught ideas about justice, kindness, and responsibility. Religious institutions became powerful. Temples, churches, and mosques were built. Scholars studied sacred texts and wrote new works. Education and culture developed further. Empires sometimes fought wars for power. However, they also created order and stability. They connected distant regions into larger systems. Trade, culture, and belief became more global. This age shaped political systems and moral thinking for centuries. Its influence can still be seen today. 11. The Industrial Revolution and the modern world 1760 present. Around 1760, a major transformation began in Britain. This change is called the Industrial Revolution. New machines replaced many forms of manual labor. The steam engine became a powerful invention. Factories were built in growing cities. People moved from farms to industrial towns. Production increased rapidly. Goods could be made faster and cheaper than before. Textiles, iron, and coal industries expanded quickly. Railways and steamships improved transportation. Travel became faster and more efficient. Communication also improved over time. Later inventions included electricity and the telephone. In the 20th century, automobiles and airplanes connected the world. Scientific discoveries advanced medicine and engineering. Life expectancy increased in many countries. However, industrial growth also caused problems. Pollution damaged air and water. Workers often faced difficult conditions. Over time, labor laws improved protections. The 20th century brought computers and digital technology. The internet connected billions of people globally. Information can now travel instantly across continents. The world has become like a global village. Trade, culture, and communication are deeply interconnected. Modern life is faster and more complex than ever. The Industrial Revolution continues to shape our present world. 12. A lesson of humility and responsibility. Modern life feels normal to us today. We wake up in safe homes and eat food from many places. We travel quickly and communicate across the world in seconds. However, this way of living is very new. It has existed for less than 0.001% of human history. For millions of years, humans lived without electricity, cities, or machines. Our comfort is recent and fragile. In a short time, humans have changed the planet deeply. We have built large cities and powerful industries. We have cut forests and used vast natural resources. We have created amazing technology and medical advances. At the same time, we have caused pollution and climate problems. Our power over nature seems great, but it is not unlimited. Natural disasters, disease, and conflict still remind us of our weakness. The future is uncertain. No one knows what the next century will bring. Because of this, we must learn humility. Humility means understanding that we are not invincible. We are part of the earth, not its masters. We also need responsibility. Our choices affect future generations. If we waste resources, others may suffer. If we protect the environment, others may thrive. Modern comfort should not make us careless. Instead, it should make us grateful. We should not take our safety and technology for granted. We should value the unique world we have created. Small daily problems are less important than our shared future. Human history teaches us one clear lesson. Progress is powerful, but wisdom is even more important.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.